Well, I try to make a good communication with the players that I work with, whether it's with a very experienced philharmonic orchestra or with a youth orchestra like this. I try in the same way to make a connection with all the players, that we together tell a musical story and not just play the notes. Well, actually it started earlier, because I started as violinist as a child, violin and piano, and of course my whole childhood I took music lessons, but I was always fascinated when I went to symphony concerts, which I did regularly with my parents. I was fascinated to see the chemistry between a conductor and an orchestra. And this maybe from my childhood was a dream to become a conductor. After playing violin and piano, I later changed to double bass, because I was playing pop music as a teenager and playing bass guitar, so back into the classical music with double bass. And I studied, I played in symphony orchestras in South Africa, in Holland, and then I started to study conducting with my chief conductor Erik Klaas in the radio in Holland, a very fine Estonian conductor, and slowly started making the move, all the time getting more conducting jobs, and it going very well with the conducting jobs. And eventually I stopped playing, and the last 10, 15 years, I don't know how long, I'm constantly conducting all over the world, which I find a big privilege to do. Well, of course they have too much energy, as usual, and which is very inspirational to see also. They play with their whole being, as if their whole life depends on it. And that is, that's an energy which I take into me, but I also need to channel this energy, that it doesn't go all over the place. And this is the challenge, and at the same time the inspiration, to have this huge amount of energy of these young people, and to mold it together into something which is artistically great. And I must say the symphony that we're doing, the Tchaikovsky First Symphony, is very, very appropriate for that, because Tchaikovsky was their age when he wrote this symphony. I think with any musicians, honesty and pureness are the most important elements. If you ask them to do something out of love for music and to make something beautiful, rather than to ask them something out of ego or status, if you ask them out of love of the music and your conviction of the music must sound like this, then they will work for you. They will play for you. I was actually here at the first festival, the Beethoven is Bogotá, and I was here with my orchestra from Rotterdam, and we were absolutely flabbergasted by the huge success of this festival. So it's for me now a huge honor to come back to this great festival, and I'm conducting 3 orchestras in the festival. So this youth orchestra, also the Russian National Orchestra, which I work with regularly in Moscow, in China, all over the world, and also the Staatskapelle Halle. So I will have a busy week next week, but it's such a joy to play all these Russian Romantic works. It's great. Many directors. Maybe if I can, of course you have the big legends like Mravinsky, like Karajan, all these big conductors. I think one of the greatest for me, musically speaking, is Svetlanov. He was a big, I played under him as a musician in the Netherlands when he was chief conductor there, and I learned so much from his musicality in the time that he was alive, and now that he's dead also, from all his recordings, they are just marvelous. His musicianship is really an inspiration.